Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Virginia, and today I'm bringing you some brand new Dollar Tree Farmhouse DIYs. I'm taking a little break from the holiday and seasonal decor and decided instead to come out with some new everyday home decor that you can use in my favorite style, which is a farmhouse. And of course, I wanted it to be affordable, so I am using all Dollar Tree supplies. This first DIY, I'm not really sure what exactly to call it. I decided to go with Farmhouse Crate. I had seen lots of different iterations on this all over Pinterest, so I kind of took 4 different ideas and mashed them into one. I have seen some with wooden spoons instead of cutting boards, and instead of chicken wire using a wood pallet from the Dollar Tree. So I decided to kind of mash those all together and come up with my own version of the Farmhouse Crate. The 2 items that you are definitely going to need are the cutting boards from Dollar Tree, which you can see I painted in the color Cashew by Waverly Paint and then distressed it with some Waverly Stain and Antique. And you are also going to need 2 frames. These are one of my favorite frames from the Dollar Tree. It has this faux wood border around it. So once I pulled out the glass and everything that was inside of the frame, I used the exact same color that I used before, which is again Cashew by Waverly, and painted the entire frame as well as the inside of the frame, because you will be able to see the inner parts of the frame because that's going to make up the body of our crate. Then once that had dried, I did go in with the Waverly Antique Stain and just dirtied that up a bit with the brown color. Next, I grabbed some chicken wire, which I got from the garden section of the Dollar Tree, and I cut it down to size so it would fit in the blank space of the frame, and then using my hot glue gun, I pushed the chicken wire into hot glue. I made sure that the hot glue was not super hot. It had just started to really warm up so that I was able to kind of push it without having to worry about burning my fingers or burning myself. Now begins the construction of our farmhouse crate. I used hot glue for this. You could also use hot glue and a mixture of E6000 to make it really indestructible. And this is pretty self-explanatory and easy. We are making a crate using the picture frames with the chicken wire as kind of the body, and then the 2 cutting boards are going to be the end pieces, both on either side of the crate. My crate is really just going to be for decor, so I did almost a false bottom just using some matching in color construction paper. But if you did want to make this actually a crate that you can carry things in and bring it from room to room, I would suggest using either one of the wood pallets from the Dollar Tree or cutting rulers or paint sticks to create the bottom of your crate. As a beaded embellishment at the top of the crate, I took a wood skewer stick and some wood beads, of course all from Dollar Tree, and added that to the top. I just threaded through the beads onto the skewer and added a little bit of hot glue to the 2 beads that are on the very ends. And yes, those were dog nail trimmers from the Dollar Tree that I used to cut the ends of the skewers. I actually found out that little trick from my friend Sammy over at Unicorn Dust Designs. It does a really great job of cutting smaller pieces of wood. Moving on to our next farmhouse DIY, I had this wood house shape from the Dollar Tree in my craft stash for a couple of months and couldn't quite decide what I wanted to craft with it, but I remembered that I had some shower rings, also from the Dollar Tree, of course, that I wanted to make a wreath out of, so I kind of just combined the ideas to make this farmhouse wood house. The first decision I had to make once I unpackaged the decor from Dollar Tree and removed the glass and the backing out was whether or not I wanted to keep the white mat. I liked it at first, and I had kind of played around with it on top of the scrapbooking paper and then what it looked like without. Ended up deciding that I liked it without, but you know me, of course I kept that white house-shaped mat. You never know when you're going to use it in another crafting DIY. So I put that back in the craft stash and then moved along to the scrapbooking paper, traced out the shape of the back of our frame, and then cut that out before gluing it into place. I don't know if you guys remember, but last year Dollar Tree came out with a bunch of spring and summer signs that had lots of different hanging pieces. It said meant to be and had different gardening tools on them. This is of course the to be section, and I'm going to be using this as basically the base for this rub-on transfer. But before I get into that, it was time to move over to my shower ring wreath. This, yes, is a shower ring that's going to be the base of our wreath. Got it in a pack from Dollar Tree, and it was really easy to make. I put a bunch of Mod Podge on it and then just started placing down some Spanish moss. Once it was all dry, I trimmed it to really make sure it was more of that ring formation and I didn't have Spanish moss all over the place. Then I added some little white flowers and some little sprigs of this purple lavender before adding a raffia bow. I hot glued that to the top center of my sign and then focused my attention back onto the home decal. I thought about just painting this sign, but I was kind of in a rush that day and didn't really want for paint to dry, so I decided instead to take some of this manila colored paper and cut out the shape and glue it down on top of it. That way I wouldn't have to be waiting for the paint and everything to dry, but of course, it's me. I love the farmhouse distressed look, so I did end up taking a little bit of the Waverly Antique stain and doing that method where I just kind of dry brush and dirty it up a little bit. This only took about 10 minutes to dry, so it was a lot faster than waiting for the entire thing to dry. Then I grabbed one of the rub-on transfer decals from Dollar Tree. I really liked this one that said home in a super dark forest green color. So I went ahead and rubbed that on using my Cricut scraper tool. And then once I peeled that off, there were a couple sections I didn't rub it on absolutely perfectly, but I actually kind of liked that because it just fed into the distressed farmhouse look a little bit more. And once I peeled off the transfer, the home sign was left behind. Rather than hot glue the home plaque directly onto our project, I decided to use glue dots instead. It made the sign a little bit more raised off of the house, and I really liked the dimension it gave. I think this next DIY is actually my favorite in the entire video. It just reminds me of something that you would see at a store like Kirkland's for way more money than the Dollar Tree supplies that I use to make it. To begin, I am taking one of the faux wood frames from Dollar Tree. These are my favorite. If you ever see them in stock, definitely pick them up. And all I did was take out the backing and everything, so all that we are left with is the frame. I then went in with a gray colored paint. This one is called Elephant by Waverly, and I coated the entire frame in this light gray color. Chicken wire seems to be the theme of today's video. Yes, I picked this up from the gardening section at Dollar Tree, but I know in one of my spring videos, I have quite a few viewers who actually own chickens, so you guys will have to let me know in the comments down below if it's cheaper to buy a larger bundle of chicken wire from a place like Tractor Supply, or if $1.25 for this small amount of chicken wire is a good deal. I'm not really sure, but I know that there are many places besides the Dollar Tree that you could pick this up. I am using more of my heavy duty glue gun, my really high temp one, because I wanted to make sure this chicken wire stuck down. I also used binder clips to hold it in place because, of course, while the glue was still hot, the chicken wire was not adhering. You had to wait till the glue really cooled down and kind of congealed, so the binder clips really came in handy. Originally, to make our beaded wreath, which is going to be the focal point of this DIY, I was going to take a pipe cleaner, but all of my pipe cleaners were very bright colors, so I ended up going with this gold wire. A brown, a white, a black might have been a little bit better, but the gold is what I had on hand, and I didn't want to buy anything new. I made two different circles, a larger one and then a smaller one to fit inside. And this was mostly to make sure that it kept its shape. The wire wasn't super thick, so I wanted to make sure that I had a nice circle formation. And unfortunately, when I didn't have that inner bead wreath inside of it, it kind of took more of an oval or egg shape, which would be great for a spring DIY, but I was going for the farmhouse look here, so that is why I did two. Also, to hide all of the wires, I grabbed some burlap ribbon and just placed that over so it appears like the burlap ribbon is really what's holding up our beaded wreath. But in actuality, I have gold wire underneath there that is keeping everything in place. I wanted a greenery accent on this DIY, and when I went into my craft stash, I realized I didn't have any floral wire. I could have sworn that I had some, but I didn't want to head back out to the store, so I just took that same gold wire that I had used earlier, and I did have floral tape, so I wrapped some of the green floral tape around it and kind of DIY'd my own floral wire. Then from there, I took some greenery sprigs, some lamb's ear that I pulled off of spring florals from the Dollar Tree, and I also picked up some small pieces of cotton that were in the Crafter's Square section. So I wound those all together using my makeshift floral wire and then adhered that to the bottom left side of this DIY. You'll have to let me know in the comments down below if you have seen any of the new farmhouse decor the Dollar Tree has come out with. My store had a bunch of it. There's a lot of different farm animals. So when I saw this pig silhouette, I had to pick it up. Didn't know exactly what I was going to use it for, but once I saw it in my store, I knew that they were going to fly off the shelves, so I had to pick them up. I'm using one of the red cutting boards from the Dollar Tree kitchen section, and using that same cashew color and the Waverly Antique stain, I painted it to cover up that bright red color and to also give it a distressed look. I wasn't lying when I told you the theme of today's video was gonna be chicken wire. Apparently farmhouse and chicken wire just go together in my mind, so I was kind of on a roll using it in all these DIYs. This is the little pig decor that I found at Dollar Tree. The other really nice thing about Dollar Tree is it's really easy to take things apart. I just bent this a couple times and the pig came right off the plaque. I was worried I would have to get out the miter shears or some sort of other tool, but it just broke right off. I don't do them as often as I probably should because I do like a classic bow, but an X-bow is a really easy way to create a farmhouse look. I just took a bunch of different pieces of burlap ribbon and also this striped ribbon, which funny enough is called farmhouse ribbon. That's what it's called from the Dollar Tree Crafter's Square section. And you are just going to layer the pieces in an X shape and hot glue them down. It's a really easy bow and I think kind of gives that messy but put together farmhouse look. Last step was gluing my pig and my bow into place, and now I have a new piece of farmhouse decor to put up in my kitchen. Next week, I will not have a new video, but I promise that I will be back the week after that. I think I'll even be vlogging what I'm getting into next week, so look forward to a video all about that. Until next time, keep searching, keep creating.